So XRP has had a fairly uninteresting last month or so after recent battles with the SEC, but something super exciting is happening right now on the chart for XRP, so let's dive in and take a look for today. So as we can see, guys, in the last day or so, we found this bottom down here at around the 1.06 level, and we put in a double bottom here, and as you can see, we have now pushed up and broken back towards the upside. But something bigger is playing out here. If we take a line and we draw it across the top of here, and we take another line and we draw it across the bottom of here. Now, obviously, we do have this big wick to the downside, but that was obviously a very swiftly brought up move that's pushed us all the way back up above this green horizontal line. Now, guys, this is somewhat of a neutral pattern in that we can either see a continuation onto the upside, or we can also see a trend reversal and a push down to the downside. And that does mean that we do need to wait to see what happens, whether we get to this point and break out, or whether we get to this point and break out. A couple of weeks back, we had this push towards the upside, and since then, we have turned this previous level of resistance and flipped it into support. And you can see by the size of these wicks towards the downside, that every time we do have a drop down, we have significant buying pressure pushing the price back towards the upside again. So considering that Bitcoin has just had a big push and is literally perhaps moments away from breaking all-time highs, and we all know what happens as soon as we break all-time highs, we tend to get huge FOMO, everyone jumping in, super excited, and we do tend to see prices push up, not only in Bitcoin, but in the rest of the cryptocurrency market. So that could see us pushing towards this line here. If we are able to push and have a breakout, then it would not surprise me if we come back down for a retest like we often see in many other cryptos and have a push back towards the upside. What I want to look then again at is the Fibonacci retracement as well. If we take the Fibonacci from this previous swing high all the way back on the 7th of September, and then we drop it down to the recent low, then we can see a number of interesting areas to look out for. Notice that the 0.382, which is this area down here, is where we've been finding significant support recently and has seen us pushed back towards the upside. And notice that where we would likely intercept this line and this one, we do have this kind of crossing point here. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is where we could see a breakout potentially for XRP in the next sort of 8 to 12 hours or so. As obviously time goes on, we will be looking to make a breakout. If, however, we are rejected at these levels, we could well take a push down towards this downside, and if we are to retest this bottom line, and potentially we would then see a breakdown and perhaps absolute zero bottom price, in terms of what I'm thinking about, would be around this level here, where we perhaps would create some sort of falling channel pattern. But things are looking quite bullish for XRP. So what would the price target be, in fact, then for this consolidation pattern? If I drop the height of this pattern here and we bring it to a potential breakout point, now obviously it will vary depending on where we have a breakout, it might take a bit more time or not, you can see something very significant indeed, and that is the correlation between this price target and this line across here, which would be the 0.786. Now if we look back previously, we can see that around this area we did also see significant amounts of resistance where we touched 1, 2 and even 3 times, and again 4 times. So don't be surprised if every time we come back up and we are checking these areas before bouncing back and pushing on to the upside as we go. You know, what's happening with the SEC, etc. is important, but we cannot ignore these price patterns that we see in front of us. We also do have somewhat of a sort of a inverse head and shoulders playing out here, which potentially would also be brought into play if we are able to bring ourselves up to this initial target. So in my opinion, first potential target would be around the 1.29 if we are able to break out of this consolidation pattern. And on from there, then we are looking up towards 1.41, and then our next target we would be looking towards the 1.618. And again, if we look across the chart, we can see perfectly how these lines really match up. Although it may seem completely random, there's actually nothing too random about the way that these charts move if you observe them enough. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.